Okay, you got me. I'm not Batman. Because just like an honest politician, he's a work of fiction which could never exist in real life. But he is one of my favourite superheroes, and thanks to the power of video games, I get to pretend to be him. In particular, thanks to the Arkham series. Now, I'm sure anybody watching this will have played a Batman Arkham game. If you haven't, play one. You can't go wrong, they're all brilliant. Just play one, honestly, awesome. But, whilst we're all waiting desperately, impatiently, and dare I say nervously, for Gotham Knights, please don't be like Avengers, please don't be like Avengers, please don't be like Avengers, just don't be like Avengers! And I hope it's nothing like Avengers. I have found a forgotten Arkham game. Let me show it you.
And without delay, that game is Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. Now, this was actually made as a sequel to Batman Arkham Origins by the same developers as the console game. It originally came out just on the Nintendo 3DS and on the PlayStation Vita in 2013. Now, it was actually praised very highly. In fact, it actually got a little bit more praise than Batman Arkham Origins. I really enjoyed this. I think it is absolutely amazing that they managed to take so many aspects from the console games and transfer them to the 2.5D world. As you're looking at now, they've kept the transitions from third person to first person, they've kept the animations, the cutscenes are just as good a quality as on the console. The 2.5D, you haven't lost any of the gameplay at all. They've kept as many gadgets in there as I feel they could, the detective vision, grappling hook, Batarang, of course. You can't be without that classic Batarang. Where would Adam West be without having that in his hand to run in and get to court? They've kept everything there they could. I'm not going to name every gadget, of course, because that's part of the fun. I don't want to spoil it. You get to discover it for yourself. Now, the game was so successful on the 3DS and Vita that they actually did bring it out onto both the Wii U shop, which is obviously long gone now, the PlayStation Network, and the Xbox Live services. I really hope they're still there for you if you don't have access to a Vita or a 3DS, because this game needs to be brought back to life. It needs to stop being the forgotten Batman game and enjoyed and take its place as a true Arkham game, because that's exactly what it is. They kept that award-winning combat in there, something that's been imitated still to this day. Even Marvel's Spider-Man, which was a huge smash hit, imitated the Arkham combat to a large degree. That's not an insult. They took the best fighting mechanic of the type for that type of game and imitated it. Why wouldn't you? It's the benchmark. They also kept the stealth aspect in there, which I thought was really important because I loved that aspect of it. And if you are really into Batman, you'll know that the tone of the Arkham games really matches the original tone that was gone for with the comic books. He was a darker character. He was a lot more gritty. He didn't kill, and they've kept that in here as well. He just knocks people out and gives them concussions, but doesn't kill them. He is also known as the world's greatest detective. Now, that's a nickname that seems to be forgotten about more and more in the modern iterations, especially in the DC films. But that's where the detective vision comes in, because he could solve things that other people couldn't. And just look at this. Look how smooth it is running with the combat. You've got the kicks, you've got the cape swing, obviously the blocking mechanic as well. You can get your combos up just like we all enjoyed on the console versions. It's superb. So with this sequel, after Origins, you get to meet Catwoman for the first time, which is interesting. I think they did a really good take on that, actually, because all I've talked about is the gameplay so far, but they've actually got a fantastic, really intriguing Batman story as well. So you will enjoy the gameplay. It's impossible not to. But even if you don't for some reason, because you're really, really wrong, you'll enjoy the story. It's really great. They've taken a relatively basic concept about there being a riot in Blackgate, which is a little bit like Arkham Asylum, really. And Batman's gone in there to keep the peace and keep the really, really bad criminals locked up. You've got characters like the Joker making an appearance, an all-time classic. You've got the Penguin in there as well, and Black Mask. They have kept it really strong. Now, I'm not going to go into the finite details of the plot because that would completely spoil it for you, and that's not what I'm about. But you can take the basics of Blackgate prison, riot, problems, Batman's on patrol, he finds out, he goes in there to sort it, but along the way, he finds out more and more. He's got a frenemy in Catwoman as well. Her character makes an appearance throughout the game, and they utilise the character absolutely wonderfully. In fact, it's the best utilisation of Catwoman in a video game, right up until the most recent one, of course, Arkham Knight. Get this game, however you can. If you're lucky enough to own a 3DS or a Vita, if you haven't got it already, you definitely must, because it's one of the best games for either of those systems. If you can get it through your Xbox Live or your PlayStation Online system, give it a go. You won't regret it. I can't imagine it's going to cost you very much, because physical copies for the handhelds aren't very much. I'll give you the full prices that I've searched and found as of today at the end of the gameplay. This needs to stop being the forgotten Batman game no one's heard of and join the ranks. Everybody talks about Asylum, City and Night. Origins occasionally gets left out, which I don't agree with. Well, let's bring that back, and this as well.
And there we have it. I really like that game, and I would strongly encourage you to go and give it a go. It could scratch that Batman itch until Gotham Knights arrives. I've got mine on the 3DS. I got it for about £7, so it's quite cheap as well. I do know the Vita version is about 15-ish, because all Vita games are more expensive because there's not many of them. I can't say whether it's on the PlayStation Now or the Xbox Live system, because it depends when you're watching this video. But have a go and check it out as well. I'm sure it's not much on there if it's available as well. A really good 2.5D Batman game, superb gameplay, made by the same developers as Origins, which I think is really underrated, and I still enjoy it. Go and give it a go. I hope you enjoyed that. I've got plenty more videos coming, so watch this space. See you soon.